A group of young British boys are stuck on an abandoned island with no way to escape, but one by one, they slowly turn into savages. How does this get resolved? Let's read Lord of the Flies and find out. Welcome back to BG's Books. I'm Mr. BG, and today I will be reviewing Lord of the Flies by William Golding. So, Lord of the Flies is similar to what I did with The Great Gatsby back in March when I reviewed that. I have read this before from high school literature. This was like a required reading for us. It was either Frankenstein or Lord of the Flies, and my class did Lord of the Flies. So anyway, I had to do an assignment back then, but I got to reread Lord of the Flies on my own time without an assignment. And I must say, I loved coming back to this classic book. I loved it when I first saw it, and I just really liked reading it. So anyway, yeah, I've just been really wanting to return to Lord of the Flies again because I haven't reviewed it before. It made a brief appearance in my every book I've read in 2023 thing, but I never reviewed it and I never talked about it outside of that video. So now I will give it its own dedicated video by talking about it here. But anyway, to explain what Lord of the Flies is actually about, getting in all the symbolism and everything in between of this wonderful book, I should actually explain what Lord of the Flies is about. So, Lord of the Flies opens when our main characters are already on the island. And there's a lot of boys here. I don't think we know all of the names, but we're specifically focusing on 6 here, which are Ralph, Piggy, Jack, Simon, and Sam and Eric, who are twins, commonly abbreviated to Sam and Eric, just one word. So anyway, Ralph is just like, how did we get here? What's on this island? Because they like plane crash and stuff, right? So he finds this little conch shell on the beach where he also meets this child named Piggy. And so they become friends and stuff. And they're like, okay, we need to establish an order to kind of get off of here and discuss a survival plan. So Ralph blows into this conch thing, and then that's what they will be using for the entire book as the kind of meeting summoner device. So anyway, across the island, all the other boys come in. We meet Jack and Simon and Sam and Eric and stuff. And basically, so what this gets done is that they basically establish that Ralph will be the leader of the pack. They're gonna try to start fires and, try to alert any incoming ships about their location, while Jack, because he's like a bigger guy, he's gonna lead some hunters into hunting for some food and stuff. So that's their main plan. But of course, in true book fashion, this does not exactly go to plan. It works for a while, but then Jack kind of gets irritated by Ralph calling all the shots. So then he starts a little rebellion, you could say. And then he starts having all the boys join him to be hunters and just like killing pigs and stuff. And so keep in mind, a while ago this was normal, but then Ralph is like, okay, Jack is becoming a little bit of a savage. He is a little crazy. So for the next little while, the book is just kind of this, like Jack slowly becoming more and more savage and Ralph trying to keep order, but everyone keeps undermining him because they think Jack has the correct stuff in mind. So yeah. Anyway, so one day, while the twins are watching the fire up on top of the mountain, because that's where they put it so that, boats can see the smoke and stuff, Sam and Eric, the little twins, they see a man jump out of his plane into a parachute because he also crash landed on this island. But they don't know that it's a man and they think it's a beast. So they go like run back to the camp. They're like, it's a beast, it's a beast. And so everyone ventures into the jungle to find the beast, only to realize it's just a human that skydived and died. So the human is dead. It's an adult. So yeah. There's no help from there. And then, of course, along the way, Jack gets more savage. And then what he eventually decides to do is that he decides that the beast is real. And so he and his hunters hunt this pig, decapitate it, put its head on a stick, and that's the offering to the beast that they think is there. And so after a while, Simon starts seeing the pig head on a stick, and it's gathering flies around it. And then it talks to him. You are a silly little boy. Just like that, in a very deep, monotonic voice. Basically, the Lord of the Flies is supposed to mean like Satan or whatever. It's like it's like a form of the Prince of Darkness, which is of course the devil. So it's like the embodiment of evil itself. And so the pig on a stick is called the Lord of the Flies. So there you go. That explains the title. But anyway, so it kind of tells Simon, hey, there's no beast here. The real beast is just everyone's savageness taking over their rationality mind. And so Simon's like, okay, I'm going to go tell people. So he goes back to camp, but everyone thinks he's the beast, and so they beat him up and kill him. And so Simon's dead. Yeah. So anyway, Jack is still getting crazy, so he decides to just make his entire clan of hunters. And so the only people left to stand against Jack are Ralph, Piggy, and Sam and Eric, because Simon is kind of dead now. So basically, they go to this place called Castle Rock, and there's a bit of a scuffle between Ralph and Piggy and Sam and Eric versus Jack and his hunters. And so Piggy is like the voice of reason this entire book. He's like the hey, I got the conch. Let's listen to what Ralph has to say, right? So anyway, Jack is just tired of listening to that shell, so he throws a rock at Piggy. The conch shell shatters into pieces, and Piggy goes over the edge of the cliff. So Piggy has now died, which means that Ralph and Sam and Eric are all alone. So anyway, Ralph still doesn't give up, so he goes to try and maybe fight his way through Jack and his hunters, but he realizes that Sam and Eric have been caught along as well. They kind of were forced into being watchouts for Jack's hunters. So now Ralph is truly alone, and he tries to sneak his way past the hunters, but he gets spotted, and now he just makes a mad dash for the ocean, either hoping to escape by swimming or probably die in the process. And anyway, so he's running. Literally the entire hunter clan is just coming after him at this point. But then as Ralph runs to the sea, he finds a naval officer. Yes, a naval officer. And so the naval officer is like, are there any adults with you? And Ralph is like, no, it's just us children. And then the naval officer basically sees how savage Jack's whole thing is turned into, and he's like, you guys are insane, but I'm going to get you home, and we're going to get you, like, help or whatever. And so this is where Ralph finally breaks down. He realizes that after the two people that died, Simon and Piggy, yes, that's actually how many people died in this book. It's kind of insane with everything that went on. But he realizes that maybe their innocence is gone forever, and so he just cries in the naval officer's legs. And that is how The Lord of the Flies ends. So to explain what I just explained to you, I guess I should probably explain where Lord of the Flies actually came from. So William Golding, the author who wrote Lord of the Flies, he was a vet in World War II, and while he was fighting in World War II, he just saw all these men just like kill each other and hate each other and fight each other, and he didn't like it. He didn't like the fighting one bit. So in 1954, he of course published Lord of the Flies, which was in response to what he saw in World War II. It's just about boys just fighting and killing each other and losing their minds over nothing. So that's really what Lord of the Flies is all about. It's just about order versus chaos. And I'm gonna be referencing what I alluded to in high school here, because I had to do like a whole report on this and the themes and stuff, so I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Ralph represents civilization and order. He's the one trying to make this island thing peaceful. He just wants to set up a fire, get alerted, like alert ships of their location, and then just get off the island. Meanwhile, Jack, he's the crazy one. He's chaos embodied. He likes to kill, he hunts things, and he's just generally a jerk to everyone, and basically turns all these boys against Ralph's order. And the only ones who really stand with Ralph are Piggy, Sam, and Eric. And then even Sam and Eric get, brainwashed by the Hunter tribe. They get forced into it, and Piggy dies. So really, Ralph is like the only one left in order. And they're only saved because the naval officer finally comes to the rescue, which means they can go back to their normal lives. But the thing is that even though they may be saved from the island, their experiences on the island will never, go back to normal. It's like they are forever messed up. They will forever be known as those boys who killed stuff. Jack will forever be a savage, and Ralph will probably need some therapy for his experiences with whatever he saw. But anyway, Lord of the Flies is just such a good book. It's like, even though it was made in 1954, it's still dated here and there, but its themes of order versus chaos and violence and death and insanity and the inner evils of humanity, those are like forever themes. Those are forever. And this is especially prevalent in the Lord of the Flies itself, which is that pig head on the stick, because the Lord of the Flies is actually another name for Prince of Darkness, which in itself is another name for the devil or Satan. So the Lord of the Flies is the embodiment of all evil, and they use the head to try and sacrifice to the beast. But what our characters don't know is that there actually is no beast. Instead, the beast is their inner desires to hunt and kill and be angry at each other. So Lord of the Flies is just a very interesting look at what happens when society is not in control, and what happens when order is exchanged for chaos and death and destruction. So William Golding was very smart about writing this, and he just made a really good book in general. So it's like, I love Lord of the Flies. I'm sure you will too. If you haven't read it, please do. Go read Lord of the Flies. I am officially telling you, go read Lord of the Flies. It is just a really incredible book with themes of inner humanity and darkness in humanity. And I think those themes will last for a long time to come. But anyway, yeah, in conclusion, Lord of the Flies is just a really wonderful book with really prevalent themes, and I think it should definitely be worth a read. But that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like on the video if you like this video, and please subscribe to the channel down below if you have not already. We're still very close to 300 subscribers, so please, let's stay on that train there. And yeah, if you want, let me know what other books I should read in the future, because I have some other books coming up, but after my list, I'm kind of stuck. So if you have any idea for some classics or even a newer release that you would want me to read, please let me know. I will put that into consideration. But yeah, anyway, that is the end of the video. And in the meantime,
kill somebody.
Yes, master. Hey, a pig. That'll work. Beast, I have a sacrifice for you.
Yummy.